She wrote me today, but I when she initially went to bed, I realized that I was going to lose her,
Hmm.
and that was basically my rock bottom. And I started looking online for AA meeting near
Mm-hmm.
me,
Mm-hmm.
and I found one. And the very next morning, that's the first thing I did was go to an AA meeting, and I have been sober ever since.
Hmm. And your sobriety is, we were discussing that earlier, and you've been sober 2 years, 7 months, and 15
Correct.
days. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
And since your sobriety, you said that you've never craved a drink.
I have not. I'm unusual in many respects, and that's one of them.
Mm-hmm.
I've not even been tempted, and even to the point to where if I'm dreaming, asleep and dreaming, in my dream, if somebody offers me a drink, I turn it down.
Hmm. Wow.
Um, it's just that's me.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not, I mean, that doesn't mean I'm not an alcoholic.
Mm-hmm.
It to me, it means that I've got this. I can stay sober, and I'm going to stay sober.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Do you think that it is mindset in terms of conquering?
I believe so. I've always believed that I can conquer my demons
Mm-hmm.
with God's help,
Mm-hmm.
and He's been, truly uh, uh, holding me in His hands.
Mm-hmm. He has. And so, Connie, how about you? What was it like on Mother's Day, the day that Don said that he ruined dinner, Mother's Day dinner for you? And what was it like? Did you know that Don was an alcoholic when you met him, married him?
I knew Don drank a lot when I met him. I came to the realization that he was more than likely a functioning alcoholic. And I could deal with the functioning alcoholic, I thought, as long as he gets up and he goes to work and he maintains and he takes care of things, then I could deal with that. It wasn't till he became an unable to function, like he couldn't make my dinner when he was a good cook. So that was
Mm-hmm.
the one, that was pretty much the straw that broke the camel's back that day, because it had been a wonderful day. I'd been out with my son having a great day, and we were expecting to come home to this wonderful dinner. And we came home, and it was not a wonderful dinner. It was very much a disappointment.
Hmm. And so, as we were discussing, some of the things that you guys have been through, Connie, you've had some health problems as well. You've had knee replacement, and you had to have surgery again to tear away some of that connective tissue. And then, Don, you were attacked by a dog.
Yeah, neighbor's pit bull took me down and sent me to the emergency room.
And what happened? What happened? I mean, he took you down, but did he? What part of your body did he attack?
He when I made a terrible mistake. The dog was with his owner and unleashed, and I was talking with her, and he was fine until I turned my back on him,
Hmm.
and he to got came after me and got the back of my left knee,
Hmm.
right in the fold,
Mm-hmm.
and tore a big hole in it through my jeans. So
And you had stitches, or?
no, I did. They managed to clean it up and did like a butterfly bandage or something like
Mm-hmm.
that,
Mm-hmm.
and sent me home.
Hmm. And then after the dog attack, you both had COVID comes, and you guys both had COVID in June.
Hmm.
You recovered well, and Don, you even said that you feel like your good health and the way that you had began exercising and working out and walking, you believe that you being in such good shape at the time is what really pulled you through COVID.
Yeah, there's not a doubt in my mind. I was in the best shape I've ever been in my life,
Mm.
um, and I was walking 5K a day easily,
Mm-hmm.
sometimes more. And I'm talking at speed. I was trying. I did 5K walks, competitions, and
Mm-hmm.
I even managed third place in my age group once. Of course, there was only 3 of us in it.
Well, congratulations. Still, that's
Yeah.
awesome. Huh. And so then after, and I remember you being in really great shape prior to the diagnosis, because you would come even to our church and you would come and walk daily and, time your walks, and they were getting better and better. You're getting faster and faster. And then after COVID, you quit drinking in May, and then you had COVID in June. And then you found out that you had diverticulitis bleed. Is that correct?
Yeah, that was actually on my 67th birthday.
Mhm.
We were at the Lone Star track
Mhm.
playing the ponies,
Mhm.
and I went to the bathroom and I came back out. I told Connie we had to go to the hospital. This was not my first diverticular bleed. I'd had one before,
Oh, okay.
and this one was way different. I spent 2 weeks in the hospital. The first week, they were trying to find out where the blood was coming from, and they couldn't find it,
Mm.
and they couldn't stop it. And so the second week, they came in and they said, we're going to have to do surgery. And they ended up taking out 80% of my colon. That's 4 feet. And that I like to joke that means I got 80% less chance of colon cancer. And I asked my GI doctor if I was going to get 80% off on my next scoping. He wasn't real thrilled with that. But ended up with 11 units of blood, 2 units of plasma that whole time. I'm fighting for my life, and God got me through it.
And then after the diverticulitis, you fell down. You took a spill. Is that correct?
There were several since then, yeah.
Okay. And one of the falls, you compressed one of your discs.
Yeah, that one passed out on the in the bathroom and hit my head square on the closet door at the very top, the crown of my head, and it ended up in a heap on the floor, and compressed the disc. That was another one of my trips to the hospital.
And do you know why you fell?
Overall weakness from from being
Pain
sick.
meds.
Oh, pain medication.
Yeah, yeah. He was having trouble with pain meds at that time too.
There certain pain medicines that I've since found out that I really can't tolerate. I've never liked opioids. I don't like what they do to me. When doctors try to give them to me, I say, no, let's find something else, please.
Right.
And then they get upset at me when I don't even finish that one. I'll deal with a little pain. I don't like being out of control.
Sure.
Which is really funny if you think about it, being an alcoholic.
Yeah, exactly. And then after the compressed disc, you found out that you had cancer.
Yes, esophageal cancer.
And how did you find out
Well,
that you had cancer?
in the diverticular bleed, they did, they scoped me obviously from the back end, but they also did it from the top, down my esophagus, and they couldn't find anything at all in either scopings, and so there was nothing there in my esophagus. 3 months later, I was like having a hard time swallowing stuff, and my doctor suggested I get another endoscopy, and that's when they found the cancer. So I look at the diverticular bleed as a blessing, because we found out within 3 months that I had esophageal cancer, and it was caught early, and therefore it was easier to get rid of. Well, I'm not really rid of it, but it was easier to go non-detectable.
Sure. And how about you, Connie? I wanna move to you. Well, actually, let me ask you this: growing up and into your teens, your 20s, up to when you found out that you had cancer, what kind of relationship with the Lord did you have?
I've always loved Jesus and the Lord. When I was in high school, I actively looked for a church to belong to. and I couldn't find the right church.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of gave up looking for the church. I figured it would find me when it was time.
Mm-hmm.
But I always said my prayers every night and left things up to the Lord. It's his choice, his will, not
Mhm.
mine.
Mm-hmm.
And when excuse me,
Mm-hmm.
when Connie and I moved down to Texas, she's from here.
Mm-hmm.
I had actually imported her up into Washington and told her when I retired, I'd bring her home. So we moved into Burleson, and the first thing we wanted to do was find a church home.
Mm-hmm.
And we found Pathway. It was just it's an amazing church.
Mm-hmm.
People there are just, I love them all.
Mm-hmm. And so, Connie, I want to move to you and ask you about what it is like, what it has been like for you, with all of these health issues, and then when Don was diagnosed with cancer. Again, and part of my title is "And a Spouse is Angry with God," and for a lot of people that may have read that, a lot of people may have thought that it was Don. Because a lot of people that are diagnosed with certain things, I'm certain, question, why me? Why?
Mhm.
And Don's not the one that has questioned, or is not the one that's angry at the Lord. It was you.
It's me, yeah.
And so tell us a little bit about what going through, or why you're angry, because you had such amazing responses, both of you, to all of these questions that I ask. Why are you angry?
Well, first of all, Don is really a good person. So why is this happening to somebody that is such a good person? He would give anybody the shirt off of his back. And then second of all, we had both gotten to a point where I had been dealing with chronic pain, and I had several surgeries to deal with that and to get rid of that. He had lost his weight. We were both gotten to a point where we were in fairly good shape and able to enjoy life and to do things that we wanted to do as a couple, getting out and living life. And then all of a sudden we get hit with this. And I was mad. I was mad at God. I couldn't understand why he would do this when I've been through so much other things in my life prior to getting with Don. I went through a lot prior to meeting Don, and I couldn't understand why I'm continually going through things. I'm not Job. I can't handle everything that you're putting me through. Give me a break, God, please. Is basically the way I felt.
And what is your why? I guess, let me ask you this. It's going to be kind of a tricky question. I love that you said that, and there's so many people, so normal, natural feelings that can be totally validated. I mean, I think even myself, I would be upset. But one thing that you said is that that everyone is going to die.
Mhm.
You're going to die, that eventually whoever, you or Dawn, whoever goes first, are going to die. So some people may wonder, well, then why are you angry? Why are you angry if we know that we are all going to eventually die? Why be angry?
I feel like it's a selfish thing. I feel like I'm being cheated out of some time with him and some life with him. Um, Took me long enough to find him, and I want to spend more time with him. It's just pure selfishness on my part, to be honest, 100% honest.
And Don, why are you not angry?
It's okay. A lot of people say, why me, Lord? Why me? And I harken back to somebody once said, well, why not you? If you can take it, why not you? There's people that can't handle it, and I believe I'm one that can. So why not me?
And so have you not ever questioned God?
Only, not really. I've always trusted that His will
Mhm.
is for me. Looking back on my entire life, I see places in my past where I was going off the path,
Mhm.
and something, and by something I mean God, nudged me back onto the path I was supposed to be on.
Mhm.
Um, Parts of my life, like when I joined the Navy, I didn't go down to the recruiting station to join the Navy. I went down there to try and talk a friend of mine out, and I ended up joining with him. So it's just things happen to me that there's no rhyme or reason. And looking back on it, I see it's God putting me on the path He wanted for me, and cancer's part of that path. And I know that I was going to survive it because God has a plan for me. I know that,
Mhm.
and I have not fulfilled it yet.
And so what does it make each of you feel? How does it make each of you feel how the other feels? Connie's angry at God, you are not. How do you feel about what Connie thinks? I mean, obviously, we're all allowed to feel the way we feel and obviously understand. Again, I want to validate Connie's feelings because they're very normal. But as husband and wife, how does it make each other feel that one is angry at God and the other is, I'm on the path that God wants me to be on?
Well, as far as Connie's anger at God, while I totally understand it, um, I don't necessarily like it.
Mhm.
I don't like her seeing her angry at God. Um, I'd rather see her angry at me than to be angry with God.
Mm.
You know, um, but I totally understand her anger, and if the roles were reversed, it might be me that was angry.
Mm. Mhm. And Connie, you?
I sometimes don't understand why he's not angry.
Hmm.
How he can take it, how he can take this and be so gracious about it. Um, but then again, I'm the one that's angry.
Does
Yeah.
his being everybody has their own relationship with the Lord, and I think sometimes, I mean, actually, I think what you said, Dawn, is that God puts us through situations. Of course, it all started with Adam and Eve. They sinned, so after that, we were screwed, and so hence here comes diseases. Here comes um, hurricanes that take people out, bad weather situations, car wrecks, evil. Um, and God is not responsible for the evil and those things. But you said something, you said that God has probably put you through certain things to put you back on the path. Connie, do you feel like Dawn's cancer and all of these things that have happened, and you said something super sweet earlier about being angry at God, and before, it's not the first time.
Mm-mm.
Do you feel like this might be one of those things that maybe later you look at and you think, I mean, of course, we can't answer what we think and feel what will happen in the future, but do you think maybe God is trying to bring you closer to Him through this?
Quite possibly, yeah. It's like I said earlier, it's not my first time to be mad at God, and we made it through it. He understood it. He understood why I was mad at him, and I got over it, and we made it through it. And I am confident that I'm going to get over it, and we're going to make it through it this time. I just need to work on it more.
Mm.
And I believe that, if you're in a position like I am, you need to allow yourself to have that anger. Um,
Yes.
if you try to repress it, then you end up with more anxiety and more negative feelings that's going to do you harm in the long run.
Exactly. And so, how has it been? What has it been like, Dawn, for you? How has it really been for you to live with everything that's been going on? Your alcoholism, your sobriety, and then all the other things that have happened to you, and now cancer. Um, how's it been like to live with and through all of those things? What has it been like for you to live
Well,
through that?
well, it hasn't been easy, and sometimes it's really quite difficult. especially when I'm having my balance issues and such, and I fall down, which I fall down a lot.
Mhm.
It hasn't been easy, but I'm still good about it. I still feel like I'm okay. I'm doing better than a lot of people.
Excellent. All right. When we come back, we will continue talking to Don and Connie, and we look forward to any questions or comments or calls that you guys may have. So we're going to take a quick commercial break, and we'll be right back.
At Romika Designs, we're more than just a laser engraving and specialty design company. Much more. I'm Ron Phillips, co-owner of Romika Designs, and if you can dream it, we can probably make it. We can custom laser cut and engrave on nearly all material. Great for one-of-a-kind gifts, home decor, business and specialty items, or personalized and logoed designs created just for you or your company. Allow us to become your go-to gift and specialty project partner. Romika Designs can help make your ideas a reality. We're ready to help you design and create that special gift for any occasion or engrave your personal or business logo on just about any product. View our designs at romikadesigns.com or simply email us with your ideas. We specialize in custom design and would be honored to have the opportunity to discuss it with you. Call us at 817-400-4040, email info@romikadesigns.com, or visit us on the web at romikadesigns.com.
Out-of-date carpet giving you the blues? Tired of your old dingy and broken tile? Let my friends at the Floor Store in Cleveland, Texas give your home the makeover it deserves. This is Old Taco Joe coming to you for the Floor Store. Whether it's carpet, tile, wood flooring, or real wood laminate, the Floor Store can cover all of your flooring needs. Located at 405 West Henderson Street in Cleveland, Texas, owner Brent Harris can help. Shower tile, tub surrounds, even backsplashes. Give them a call today at 817-641-9444. The Floor Store, they got you covered.
Hey, there's something you forgot to do. It sure is hot. Are you sweating like a dog? Wait, what? Dogs don't sweat. Oh no, you forgot to get your window tinted. Whether it's the kitchen window that sits in the sun for the hottest part of the day, or you just got new wheels, call Sharp Window Tinting in Burleson. 817-615-9379, or look them up on the web, sharpwindowtint.com.
The voice of Johnson County, Joco Community Radio.
We are back to the second part of the show. Joco Community Radio is proud to be the voice of Johnson County, Texas, and it's live 24/7 on the TuneIn Radio Network. TuneInJoco.com is a place to find all the ways to listen and watch, and the station app is also available for free on Android and Apple devices. Simply search your store. Check out our lineup and more at JocoCommunityRadio.com. This episode and more is brought to you by Patriot Claims, making your insurance work for you. Reach out to your Texas sales rep at 844.tex.hail. That's 844.839.4245. If you have questions for either Don or Connie, please leave them in the comments, or you can give us a call here at the radio station. The number here is 817-637-2585. The message is also brought to you by thetiffy.com. So be sure to dress your arms and more at thetiffy.com. So we are back. One of the comments here says, wow, Don, I'm so sorry. So it's just sorry for all of the things that you have gone through. And for Connie as well. So I want to get back to a little bit more of the deeper stuff. Connie, how do you feel as Don's caretaker? I mean, we'll move back even a little bit further. What has it been like to live with Don? When Don became sober, how did you feel during that time?
When Don first became sober, I was afraid to have any kind of alcohol in the house.
Mhm.
He first got sober, and I immediately boxed up any type of alcohol we had in the house, took it over to my son's house, said, "Here, you can have it." He didn't want me to curtail my drinking. I don't drink that often as it is, never did drink a whole lot. Went through a period where I drank a lot, but never really stuck with it.
Mhm.
And I tried to hide it from him. I was afraid that it would be tempting for him if I had it around.
Mhm. And would it have been?
No. Since the day I quit, I have not uh, even I've not even wanted anything. That's unusual, I know, for an alcoholic. It's simply I don't want to drink. I know I can't drink. To the point that even in my dreams, if I'm dreaming we're having a party and somebody hands me a beer, I don't accept it, and that's in my
Wow.
dreams.
That is amazing. That is so amazing to me. So then you were able to eventually start having a drink or two because you could see that Don was
Yeah.
clearly.
He was doing well, and he was encouraging me not to curtail any of my activities because of him.
Mhm.
He wanted me to be myself around him, and I nowadays it's not unusual for us to have a bottle of liquor on on our counter. In fact, there's probably 4 at my house right now since we've been celebrating Christmas. But I, I was afraid of relapse at first. I really was, and I know relapse is something that's not uncommon to happen when you first get sober. So I was afraid of that. That was my main fear, was that I was going to have the liquor around, and the liquor was going to be a cause for him to relapse.
Mm-hmm. And how about as his caretaker now? I mean, how does that? How do you feel, you, Connie? How do you feel as Don's caretaker? How has that been?
It's tiring. It's very, very tiring. It's I tell people that I have PTSD from him falling in the bathroom. He's fallen a couple of times, and it's not, both times have resulted in a hospital stay. So
Because you found him one time and you weren't able to get in it. Tell us
Right.
about that fall.
I was asleep, and I heard him hit the door. I heard the fall, and it woke me up, and I couldn't get in the door because he had fallen against the door when he passed out. I was pushing and screaming and yelling, and I don't know what it was. God and the angels helped me push open the door, and I was able to see that he had been vomiting blood. And get in and get him out of the doorway enough to where I could get and call 911 and get paramedics in to help.
And so, being his caretaker, it's tiring. Don had mentioned that he encouraged and knew that you needed to start taking care of yourself a little bit, do a little self-care.
Yeah.
Is that hard to do? I mean, especially now having PTSD from him falling. I mean, a lot of caretakers think, there's no way that I would be able to leave because what if he falls
Yeah,
again?
you
What if
you
something
don't
happens?
want to leave because you're afraid that I'm going to come back and I'm going to find him in a heap on the floor. But in the same sense, I've tried to find little ways to self care for myself at home, like facials or giving myself a pedicure. I haven't even gone out and had a pedicure in months because I don't want to leave him for fear something's going to happen. But I have vowed that in 2023, I'm going to be a little bit more self aware and take care of myself a little bit better. I'm going to go visit with a friend in East Texas and spend a couple of days.
Because you have to.
Yeah.
I mean, you have to, as someone who is caring for someone else. I mean, I think it's mentally and physically and emotionally, it can be exhausting. but within the same breath, I wouldn't want, I think we go through those thoughts. I'm saying this as I'm thinking about taking care of my mother. I didn't want anyone else to do it. I wanted to be the
Right.
one to
Right.
take care.
Well, and I had actually had a trip planned with my daughter-in-law to go out of town when he had his last hospitalization.
Mhm.
And we canceled it because he had just gotten out of the hospital. So it's something that has been in the thought process to do, but in the same sense, like you said, I didn't want to leave him for fear, even though my son works, not too far away. They live about an hour away, and he works right around the corner from us.
Mhm.
I didn't want to leave Don for fear that something would happen. And what if he couldn't even call my son for help?
Mhm. And Don, how does that make you feel?
Initially, when she first started caretaking, I got a little angry at her because she wasn't taking care of herself. She wasn't doing any self-care. She was strictly focused on me.
Mhm.
And I knew it was important for her to focus on herself too.
Mhm.
And as far as her going out of town, I got no problem with that. I've made promises to her. I will always keep my phone on me at all times. So if I have a fall or something like that, walking in the mailbox, I can call for help.
Mhm.
Um, I will always have my cane with me because the balance problems, my cane helps. It's like a tripod. I'm more stable.
Mhm.
But
And the balancing issues that comes from the medications that you might be on, or the therapy.
initially, I used to be on a certain drug that turns out I can't take it.
Mhm.
It messes with me too much.
Right.
And then I was okay with it at first because it was mild, but then I started taking another medication was prescribed to me at the same time, and that's when things got out of hand. I started getting real dizzy,
Mhm.
stand up, which is it can be normal for an older person.
Mhm.
Drop your blood pressure, you get a little dizzy.
Sure. Yeah.
But I was like overboard. I could turn my head and get dizzy and fall.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
And also be a little stubborn and carry things like not want to take 2 trips and carry multiple boxes and stuff. And
yeah, that was a result of my last fall. It resulted in my last falls, which was 2 in one day on a week ago Sunday.
and so while Connie is gone out of town, you won't be doing that.
I won't be doing that.
Mm-hmm.
And I keep nothing from her anymore. I used to be like, when I fell this first time, this last Sunday,
Mm-hmm.
not this Sunday, but the one before it, I didn't say anything to her. And she witnessed the second one. And that was, the reason I didn't say anything the first time is because she wasn't out there.
Mm.
She came out there just in time to see the second one. And I told her I did it earlier too. It's the second time. And she got angry at me, for not telling her about. Well, I told her it's, the first chance I had.
Sure. Yeah.
But there was a time when I wouldn't have mentioned it at all. I would have said, like if she hadn't seen the second fall, I wouldn't have mentioned it. There was a time,
Mm-hmm.
but she'd have been wondering about that big old knot on my head, though.
Exactly. So when you were diagnosed with your cancer, and you said what's the name of the cancer that you have?
Esophageal.
Esophageal. And because of the type of cancer that you have, you were doing chemotherapy, but not radiation.
Yeah. When they check out your esophageal cancer first, they do a lot of testing with it, and apparently, I don't know what it stands for, but it's HER2 positive
Mm-hmm.
is the type of the cancer that my esophageal cancer is, and it's normally found in ladies with breast cancer.
Mm-hmm.
But I was initially supposed to do every 3 weeks chemotherapy, and every 5 days, not every 5 days, but every day, 5 times a week,
Mm-hmm.
radiation, and then at some point a surgery called an Ivor Lewis surgery.
Mm-hmm.
But because of the HER2, none of that other was necessary. They were only going to do 8 sessions every 3 weeks of chemotherapy. And after week 6, they discovered that I was NED, which is not no evidence of disease. Basically, the cancer's in remission. So I didn't have to do the final 2 cancer treatments. So now I'm just on 2 immunotherapies, 1 immunotherapy and a targeted uh, therapy for the specific type of cancer. So I'll be doing that for every 3 weeks for another year.
And one of the things that we were chatting about before, when you said that it's no evidence of disease, so that you are considered in remission, and that it's 5 years before you can be before they a nurse or doctor or whatever can say that you're cancer free.
Right.
You're
Yeah. There's you have to be cancer free for 5 years before they'll say that you are cured.
okay.
So,
And does that scare you? Are you scared?
no, not at all.
Do you worry a lot or about, wow, it's going to be 5 years before I possibly hear those words, or it could come back?
Well, that always haunts me, the thought that it could come back, because it does. I have a friend of mine who's going through like her 4th battle with breast cancer, and I don't know how many years. But it just she gets to NED and it comes roaring back, and it's a tough time for her. It's like she's under right now. She's only doing chemotherapy again. She's not doing any radiation, but it's her things like her story that really causes you to feel scared about whether yours is going to come back or not. But it's always in the back of my mind. But I figure, you know what? The Lord's got this. It's His will. It's not mine.
Right. And you, Connie, are you scared? Do you worry a lot?
Oh, I worry all the time. I'm the one that does all the research and the investigations whenever either one of us have anything. I look up the drugs. I try to inform myself as much as possible because knowledge is power. And I first immediately looked up the 5-year survival rates, and that scared me. And I know he can beat the odds. I just know that the odds are formidable. And it does frighten me that one of these days we're going to hear the tumor's back. And we're part of a group online through Facebook that is for esophageal cancer, and we see every day the cancers come back, and we see every day somebody has died from this cancer. So it's kind of hard to see that happening too. Plus, we had a friend that died that was doing her chemotherapy. They were chemo buddies, and she did her chemotherapy 2 days before he did his, and she ended up with COVID and she passed. So, it's the whole cancer thing and the whole, you can die at any moment thing. It plays on my mind more now than ever.
And something else that we were chatting about earlier, in terms of cancer possibly coming back. Of course, we don't know who's going to go first. We never know. But you said that Don was very optimistic, and that you are more of the realist. You're more realistic because of that research that you have done. And also, I think it being a part of that group, it really does make you feel that way.
Oh, it does.
Do you get support from that group as well, though?
You get support. You see the miracles every day. You see the person that's had it 14 years ago and is still clean, and they're still surviving, and they're having a wonderful life. So you do see the good that happens, and it's nice to see that there are people that can beat the disease and that do live a fruitful life after having it.
And you said that you guys are downsizing. You guys are downsizing. Why?
Well, basically, one of us is going to die, and leaving it to where it's a more manageable home for the one that's left behind is basically my whole thought and process. Don't want to have something so big that it's too much of a burden to take care of.
Is that depressing? Do you get depressed?
I'm excited by it. I am really excited by it.
Why?
Um, I have learned through life not to be afraid of new adventures. And I look at this as a new adventure.
You know what? And I love that. I think that being somebody like that, that's not afraid of new adventures. I know that cancer is probably not the adventure that people want to go on, but I think that that probably gives you strength to go through something like this. I think someone who is afraid of change, fearful of change, someone who doesn't really appreciate adventures or doesn't like adventures. Of course, hearing a diagnosis like that is no fun anyway, right?
Right.
It's painful. It is scary. It's the unknown. But being someone who is okay with downsizing, who knows and has said the obvious, one of us is going to pass and we want to make it easier for the other. But being someone who loves adventure, I wonder if that even helps, if that helps you with that gives you strength a little bit. I mean, obviously I know it comes from the Lord, but you think?
You know, it could. My whole thought process, even though I was scared and I was mad and I screamed and I yelled at first, my whole thought process has been, let's get it done. Let's just fight this. Roll up our sleeves and let's do what we have to do.
And I think that someone who is going through this with a family member, a spouse, you're going to go through those emotions. You're going to go through those emotions of being afraid, of being angry, and then have reached the place where you are is, let's do this.
Yeah.
Let's roll up our sleeves and let's fight through this, which is a good place to be, I think. Don, is it depressing for you to be downsizing? Is that
Not at all. It's like she said, it's an adventure, and part of the adventure, though, is in the downsizing, I have to look at things that I've held on to for years, on my little treasures, and I've had to make some tough decisions, and I got to give this away, or I got to donate this to the Harvest House, or I just got to throw this away and just be done with it because I haven't seen it. Just because I loved it at one time and it meant a lot to me. And there's a lot of things that I am keeping that mean a lot to me, but I made a lot of sacrifices and I'm okay with it. Certain things, I don't touch them. It's always been comforting that they're there, but they don't need to be there anymore.
And how's your families, your children, how are they dealing with your diagnosis?
They're very supportive. As a matter of fact, sometimes I get stubborn. I do something and I cause a fall, and her son Stephen gets mad at her for letting me get into that predicament.
Yeah, I get in trouble.
And then tells her, you got to pay more attention to him and be more, be more on top of him. So it's like, I know they support and love me.
Have they expressed any fear or depression?
Yeah, they not so much depression, but you can see the concern in their faces. And I went through an illness several years ago, and I had to tell him that I was sick, and I heard the words, "Mom, are you going to die?" And I didn't want to ever have to put him in the position to ask that question. So now we tell them we're upfront about everything, and they know all the diagnoses and everything. So they've been real supportive, more supportive than some kids would be. I mean, I can call on them in a New York minute. I've called on them and I've had them there before the ambulance arrived. So.
And I want to ask, what do you guys hope for in 2023? Don, what do you hope for? What do you hope for in 2023?
Well, obviously, I hope for better health, but I want to be the the man that I've been becoming. I want to be the person who's there for my wife because I love her so much, and I want to be the person that follows God's will for him. I want to be that guy. I want to be the guy that my dogs think I am.
I love that. I love that. How about, what are your hopes for 2023? What do you hope for, Connie?
I hope for a break. Just a break.
Mhm.
That he continues to recover and he continues to do well with his treatments. No more hospitalizations. Just a little reprieve from everything that we've been going through. Maybe a chance to have a deep sigh of relief.
Mhm. Don, who is Don Crepeau today? Who are you today?
Well, today I'm the best Don I've ever been in my life. And a large part of that is because of the love that I get from my wife, my stepson, and his wife, and of course God's love. I want to be deserving of all that.
You're such a good man. I can understand now a little bit. I mean, I will never fully understand how you feel, obviously, Connie, but saying that you want to be the man that God intended for you to be. And Don, I believe that you are. I can see it. I feel it in your spirit. You are.
Thank you.
Who's Connie Crepeau today?
Connie is still confused and tired and conflicted. There's part of me that is still mad that we're having to go through this. But yet there's part of me that understands that there's got to be a reason we're going through this, and he's handling it so well. So why am I so mad? And I don't know.
I think it's because you love him so tremendously.
That's it.
And we know.
And you don't want them to go through, if someone that you love that much, you don't want them to go through pain and heartache, and you want to stop and take care of them and beat up whatever is causing them problems. And I can't beat up cancer.
And because I think about how much we love our family members, our friends, and how God is such a big God, and he can take our anger, and he's so grace filled. He's so sovereign. And, like you said, you were mad at him before, and he knows it, and he took it, and he knows you're mad at him now, and he's taken it. And I believe that I really sometimes believe that we're just maybe not even angry at God, but maybe just angry because our loved ones are going through this, because of the tremendous love that you have for Don. And there's a saying, I don't know it exactly, but it is a quote from Winnie the Pooh, and how grateful someone is to have loved so much that they've hurt so much. That hurt comes, that pain comes from loving someone so much. And what an honor and what a blessing it is to love someone so much on this earth. How long have you and Don been married together?
Well, we got married in 2005, and we've known each other since 2002, something like that. So we were friends before we became in love with each other, I think that helped us out tremendously.
Well, I think that both of you are two amazing, beautiful people. I'm so honored to have had you guys come on and share, be so transparent. I know that you guys, this podcast is going to change people's lives and perspectives. Thank you so much for coming on. I so appreciate you.
Thank you.
Good night, everyone. Stay tuned to next Monday when I come on, and we will see you then. Have a good night.
And Grandview to Godly, this is the voice of Johnson County, Joco Community Radio.
Hey, travelers, do you want to save money on your next flight? Then pick up the phone and call. That's right, call, because the best prices are not online. They're with Smart Fares. See, Smart Fares has special deals with the